like NASCAR? Do you like a Tribe Called Quest? Well, you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like manwich and nachos? Well, then you'd love the Urban Conservative.
Do you like guns? Do you like butter? Well, you're gonna love the Urban Conservative.
Yo, what's good, son? You like pit bulls, say? You like solving Sudoku puzzles? Then you gonna love the Urban Conservative.
TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. Top of the morning to you. Boop, boop, boop. Top of the morning to you. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Top of the Morning. I'm your host, Abdul Ali. This is the best 30-minute morning show on the planet, and we thank each and every one of y'all for checking us out on Millennium News 24 here on the Urban Conservative. As always, if you don't have the app, get the Millennium TV 24 app on your Amazon, Roku, or Apple Smart TVs. You can also check us out on your Samsung Smart TV and all your favorite little apps and doodads. You can also support the show directly at tuconservative.com. Get yourself one of them Hamilton plans. Hope you all have had a wonderful, fantastic, and amazing weekend. I did have a good weekend. I had a chance to get out and meet with some community members and work with some charter schools that are getting ready to open up. So fantastic, relaxing, and productive weekend all at the same time. For our mug shot of the day, here's what we on. We on our feeling mug today. I've got that exclusive French Express blend thing going on this morning. As always, send us or tag us in a shot of you with your favorite coffee mug, and you might win mug shot of the day. We're going to start that next week. So start tagging us at the Urban Conservative and your favorite coffee mug shot of the day. Now, I am, first thing we're going to talk about is this, right? And a lot of y'all know, a lot of you all who watch the show, some of you are a little younger, some of you are a little older, but I went to school at a time when there was no such thing as the internet, okay? Not that I'm terribly old. You don't got to be terribly old to have gone to school at a time where there was no internet, but I mean, there was no Google, there was no Yahoo, there was none of that when I was in high school. Matter of fact, cell phones were just starting to be a thing when I was in high school, right? Like, you were the dude if you had a cell phone. We had pagers. I don't know if y'all remember actual pagers where somebody would have to call you, enter their number, your pager would go off, then you'd have to find a phone and call them back, right? And so when I was going to school, the biggest fear about cheating in school was you were copying off the guy or the girl to your left or right, right? Now, if they got it all wrong and you had the same answers they had, you got it all wrong. And that was usually the biggest thing people had to worry about with cheating. But these kids today, society today, y'all have such amazing advantages. First thing we're going to talk about is this chat GTC thing, which is now coming out. It's called Chat GPT. And this is a artificial intelligence basically you can tell this artificial intelligence to write you an essay about the cause of the American Civil War, and you could watch it churn out a paper in a matter of seconds. Now, the scary thing about this is that it's not a plagiarized paper. This is artificial intelligence that's thinking on its own. Now, there's a story about this. The AP says one New York City school official this week started blocking the impressive but controversial writing tool that can generate paragraphs of human-like text. The decision by the largest U.S. school district to restrict the ChatGPT website on school servers and networks could have a ripple effect on other schools and teachers scrambling to figure out how to prevent cheating. The creators of ChatGPT said they're also looking for ways to detect misuse. The free tool has been around for about a month, but it's already raising tough questions about the future of AI in education, the tech industry, and a host of professions. And just to give you a backdrop here, ChatGPT launched in November 30th, but it is part of a broader set of technologies developed by a San Francisco-based startup called OpenAI, which has a really close relationship with Microsoft. Turns out it's a new generation of AI systems that can converse, generate readable text on demand, and even produce novel images and video based on what they've learned from a vast database of digital books, online writings, and other media. Now, here's the kicker. Unlike previous iterations of the so-called large language models, such as their GPT-3 launched in 2020, this tool is available for free to anyone with an internet connection and designed to be more user-friendly. Now, here's what my problem is with this. Like I said, folks, at the end of the day, all I had to worry about, all the teachers had to worry about when I was in school was, did I write the answers down on my hand? You know, did I have it scribbled down on a tiny piece of paper? Did somebody find the test beforehand? But think about this. What is the implication of what this says for people and their ability to write? If I could just go on my phone and say, hey, write me a paper on economics. I mean, what are we really producing? A generation of dummies? Is that where this is going? I mean, you see all of these dystopian movies about the future and people are like hooked up to machines and living virtually because life is too hard and that's what I feel like we're heading towards. This is not a good thing, folks. I'm sorry. I think the technology's cool and I get it. But we might be pushing this too far, especially when we talk about the implications of young people having to develop thoughts on their own. You know, if we have AI that can do it, these kids won't have to come up with any thought. You know, it's like right now, you know what I compare this to? And I'm just going to use this as an example. So I thought I was going to make it at least one morning without being called a coon or an Uncle Tom. Not so much. I got called an Uncle Tom this morning, right? But here's the thing. When I go look at these people who use the same leftist talking points. You're an Uncle Tom. You're licking the white man's boot because you're a Republican. I look at their Facebook feeds. I look at their Instagram feeds. I look at their Twitter feeds, and there's little to no original thought. It's like these people think in memes. What does this do for the future of our children, the future of our society, when people can't even come up with original thoughts, folks? That is a scary, scary idea, a scary concept to think about. This chat GPT thing definitely should be banned in schools. I don't think parents should be allowing their kids, especially early childhood division, middle school, elementary, middle, and high school students. If you need some help on a paper, get in the right direction in college, I get it. But I don't know if this is, if you're going into a profession where you're going to have to service people and help people, and you can't think for yourself or think on the fly because you had a piece of equipment to do it for you, I don't know if that does the right thing for us. So we're going to take a few seconds here. We're going to take a quick commercial break right here on Top of the Morning. Again, the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Don't go nowhere.
TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back to Top of the Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Abdul Ali. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the planet here on the Urban Conservative. We definitely appreciate you and all your support. Jump in the comment section. Let us know where you're watching from. We'd love to get you a shout out here on the air. Our next story, I'm going to start out by saying this. Isn't it interesting? It's taken Joe Biden all of 2 years to get down to the border. Isn't that interesting, folks? 2 years. It's taken Joe Biden to hobble his barely could walk, barely could think, barely could talk self to the southern border. Now, I don't know what he's supposed to be doing down there at the border. I have no idea what he thinks he's going to do. This dude could barely string along a sentence. I think maybe he thought he was at like a Tex-Mex restaurant or something. The dude don't know where he's at half the time. But we hear people, and part of the reason on the last segment I was talking about I got called an Uncle Tom is because I'm making the suggestion that people who are seeking asylum will come to the country, they will present themselves where they're supposed to present themselves and do things the right way, not this hop across the border and sneak into the country thing. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because back in 2016, when Donald Trump said what he said about the immigrants, illegal aliens crossing the border, some of them are nice people, but a lot of them are rapists, a lot of them are murderers, a lot of them are drug dealers. We have proof of that. We're not going to act like this isn't a thing. This guy that you see before you is a previously deported illegal alien who was convicted of child abuse in 2010 and was found living in New York State, a sanctuary state. That is 46-year-old illegal alien Manuel Zumba Mieja of Ecuador was arrested in Ossining, New York. And I know about Ossining. Ossining is a great little town, great little place to be. He was arrested by ICE agents after previously being deported from the U.S. in 2011 after a conviction for child abuse in February of 2010. How come he didn't go to jail? How come you just get kicked out the country? You should go to jail first and then get your ass kicked out the country. But nearly 14 years ago, he was arrested and booked into Westchester County Jail for assaulting his newborn 7-week-old daughter. I'm not even going to say that. All I'm saying is, that's why I'm not an officer, because I'd have whooped his tail all the way to... Anyway, at the time, ICE agents placed a detainer on Mieja, requesting to take over custody when he was released from local custody. After serving his sentence, Mieja was deported from the U.S. to Ecuador in September 2011. How long did you get? A year for molesting a baby? But he returned to the sanctuary state of New York at an unknown date, likely via the southern border. Last April, he was convicted in Croton-on-Hudson Village Court for drunk driving and released back into the community with a $1,000 fine, despite his status as a previously deported illegal alien convicted of child abuse. ICE agents tracked him down and finally arrested him on January 5th. He remains in U.S. Marshals Customs custody while awaiting trial for illegal entry. So here's what the problem is, folks. This is really where the problem lies, okay? You got a dude convicted of such a heinous, disgusting, horrible, terrible act. New York State releases this guy. If he got convicted in 2010 and he's out in September 2011, that means that dude didn't even serve a whole year in jail before y'all deported him. And deporting wasn't a crime because he got right back in. And this is where these stupid people, and I would show y'all this, but these people, when I say people who come to the country the right way deserve our respect, they make this argument, these socialists, these Marxists, these leftists make this argument when I say we respect illegal immigration. Well, there's no such thing as illegal people. Borders are illegitimate, one guy said. And I said, well, then that means your front door is illegitimate. And you should just let anybody, everybody, and whoever wants to come in your front door, come in. Because, I mean, the front door to a country is its border. So why in the world would we not want to see our southern border secure? It is an absolute lie. It's a fictitious falsehood, fake thing to say that conservatives like myself, conservatives in general, don't care about immigrants. A lot of the Republicans you see now, conservatives you see now, have somebody in their family. We have people in our family that had to come to Ellis Island and do it the right way, that had to go through the process and do the immigration thing the right way. So again, New York State, if y'all watching from New York, y'all got to get it together, man. Y'all releasing these drunk driving, probably no license. How you got a license? You here illegally, but wait a minute. Some of these states will give you, if you're an illegal alien, New York wanted y'all to be able to vote. They want to give y'all a driver's license. They want to give you first, second, third, fourth. They want to give you constitutional rights. Folks, constitutional rights apply to the citizens. Okay? If you're not a legal citizen, you don't have constitutional rights. We're going to take a real quick commercial break. We got a couple of more things to cover this morning. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the internet and on TV, Top of the Morning. We'll be right back. Don't go nowhere. This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Top of the Morning. I'm your host, Abdul Ali. Thanks for watching us on Millennium News 24. Also checking us out live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We really appreciate that. Also jump in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from. We can get you a shout out. Also, don't forget, start posting and tagging us in a shot of you with your favorite coffee mug. We'll get you, see who wins the mug shot of the week. So definitely tag us at the Urban Conservative when you do that. We got two more things to cover here. As I sip my coffee, I think back to June of last year as I was sitting backstage at Freedom House Church, and I was looking at Mark Robinson, Clarence Henderson, and Dr. Ben Carson backstage, folks. And one of the things that amazed me about the opportunity to be with those three gentlemen was not only the fact that there were three generations represented, three American success stories represented there, but I had to think about what it took Dr. Ben Carson to get where he was, not only to become one of the world's leading neurosurgeons, not only to become a presidential candidate, not only to become the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, but to also have a school named after you. Now, I want to share this with you because I'm not going to curse. These idiots in Detroit have decided it was a good idea to take away the school name that was Dr. Carson School of Medicine. And I like his response. Classy as always. Dr. Ben says, "We've reached the point where political ideology trumps the whole purpose of an educational institution. And we're seeing this wokeness spreading throughout our community to the destruction of our communities." Now, the thing about this is the school board that removed Ben Carson's name, okay? The school board that removed his name is a failing school board. The schools in this community are failing. Dr. Carson and his wife, Candy, are the sweetest, nicest people, okay? It is a disgusting thing when you look at the deeper inspection. The motivation of the school board is outrageous. They removed, all the way back in 2018, they were pushing for this. And school board member Lamar Lemon said that having Dr. Ben Carson's name on the school is synonymous with having Trump's name on our school in blackface. He went on to say that by doing Trump's bidding, Dr. Carson has adversely affected the African-American community and allied himself with a president that says he's a white nationalist and sends dog whistles that even the deaf can hear. First of all, dumbass, if it's a dog whistle, only dogs can hear it. Second thing, dumbass, if you ever took 1 second to look at what the accomplishments were under the Trump administration for minority communities. I know y'all have heard it, but I'm going to say it again. Lowest unemployment, Home ownership for African Americans went up. More African Americans in the workforce. The Platinum Plan for Black economic prosperity here in this country. He had appointed more African Americans to leadership positions in his administration than any other president. I personally worked with Bruce Lavelle, who is the director of the Small Business Administration Region 4. So what you're telling me here, these idiots in Detroit are so blinded by wokeism, but then let's look at Detroit. Let's look at the crime. Y'all schools are failing miserably. And for y'all to remove, what better example of accomplishment can you have for a black man in America than Dr. Ben Carson? Would you'd rather these kids look up to LeBron dumbass James? And I remind you folks, anybody could, a SEAL can put a ball through a hole. I've said this to people before, neurosurgery and basketball are worlds apart, okay? I'm not impressed at a 7-foot tall dude putting a ball in a 10-foot hole. I'm not impressed with it. I'm a little agitated at the idea that these people who are failing, who are consistently failing their communities, would remove Dr. Ben's name. It is absolutely ludicrous. It is the dumbest thing on the planet to say that Ben Carson is basically Donald Trump in whiteface. It is just asinine, completely and totally asinine. And I think Ben Carson gave a very classy and a dignified response to that. If I ever start a school, I'm gonna call it the Ben Carson School. Ralph, we ever start a charter school like that, we need to call it the Ben Carson Academy of Educational Excellence or something like that, because it deserves that. And just the last thing I'm gonna say on this before we take our last break. Detroit is failing. The city's failing. The city is overrun with criminals. People are leaving left and right. It's basically a ghost town in certain areas. And these people have the audacity to push their wokeism. It's unacceptable, folks. So we're going to take our last quick commercial break. We've got one more thing to cover on the best 30-minute morning show on the internet and TV. We'll be right back.
TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
All right, folks, welcome back to Top of the Morning. I'm your host, Abdul Ali. Thanks for checking out the best 30-minute morning show on TV and the internet. Make sure that you are getting us on anywhere you listen to podcasts. Every Monday night, the Urban Conservative goes live. The apps that you need to get are Millennium News 24 and Millennium TV USA. They are available anywhere, App Store, iOS. Get those apps so that you can watch our content anywhere, anytime that you would like. So, as you can see, I'm rocking my North Carolina joint this morning, and that is because North Carolina is the #1 state for economic development. A magazine that does this annually has decided that North Carolina, because of its conservative policies, is indeed the state of the year when it comes to economic policy. I'm going to share this with y'all real quick so that y'all can see it. This is being reported by WRAL. And basically, the North Carolina is the state of the year for economic recruitment after a year of record investments won and jobs to come, says the Business Facilities Magazine. It's a leading publication for business recruiting across the U.S. State economic developers at the NC Department of Commerce and Economic Development Partnership have reported the landing of 30,000 jobs and multi-billions in investment for 2022. That exceeds a record set in 2021. And for those reasons, the magazine chose North Carolina as the winner of its annual award that dates back to 2007. I got to tell you something. I know we want to give all the credit. We want to give all the credit to the General Assembly. We want to give all the credit. The governor's going to want to take all the credit for this. But I want to give some credit to the local government folks, to the county commissioners, to the city councils. Big shout out to Concord, to Cabarrus County, my county. We landed Red Bull. We landed Eli Lilly. It is a huge, huge thing that economic policies put forth by conservatives are benefiting all communities. They're benefiting everybody. So if you live in Charlotte, you live in Raleigh, you happen to have freckles this close together, and you hear Democrats and people on the left telling you that Republicans only care about the rich, Republicans and conservatives, they're not doing anything to improve your life, they're making things miserable. No, they're bringing jobs. The policies that they're promoting and supporting are bringing jobs to our community. So a big shout out to Speaker Tim Moore, Senate Pro Tem Leader Phil Berger, Senate Majority Leader and underwriter here at the Urban Conservative, Paul Newton, and all of our municipal government officials that are working hard every day to bring economic prosperity to North Carolina. And we really appreciate that. Now, the thing is, folks, here's the thing. If we don't get out and vote, we don't continue to put conservatives in place, it's awards like that, these economic development awards and things like that are going to disappear. We've got a great opportunity in front of us this budget cycle to continue that economic prosperity. And we hope that our General Assembly, our local governments continue to work towards that effect. Before I go, ladies and gentlemen, a quick shout out to the Pasquotank Pack. I'm going to be with the Pasquotank Pack on January the 24th. So if you live in Pasquotank County or the surrounding areas, come and see me live January 24th, 6 p.m. We're going to be at hold on, I'm going to tell you exactly where we had. We will be at the Journey Christian Church, 1923 North Road Street in Elizabeth City on January the 24th at 6 p.m. So come on out, take a look. We will be, join us if you're in Pasquotank, Currituck, surrounding counties. We look forward to seeing you. So again, folks, thanks for checking out Top of the Morning, the best 30 minutes you could spend. Get yourself a cup of coffee. Join us every morning, 8 a.m. right here. We appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow morning. Matter of fact, no, we'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. for the Urban Conservative Podcast. And again, tomorrow morning for Top of the Morning. For my twin brother, Raheem Soto, I'm Abdul Ali. Top of the Morning. Have a good day, folks.
TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description. Top of the morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. I'm your host, Abdul Ali. Hopefully you are having a wonderful morning and all is going good in your world. Today we've got an interesting show. It'll be a brief one, but it's going to be interesting. A couple of things we want to do. First and foremost, if you haven't done so already, please go over to tuconservative.com. Give us some love over there. Join the platform. It's only $10 to support what we do. That Hamilton plan will get you exclusive membership to the website, which gives you the news blog, that gives you access to a wonderfully curated news feed, and you get the heads up when we're going to do events in a city near you. You can also sponsor an episode of Top of the Morning or the Urban Conservative or Soulful Sundays, whichever one it is you want to sponsor. And you also get a handy dandy TUC mug. Big shouts out to all of our friends and our supporters across the country. Let us know where you're watching or listening from, if you're watching or listening live. And if you're listening to the playback, if you like to listen to podcasts and you don't see us on the platform you're on, let us know so that we can jump up in there. All right, guys, this morning, I hope you've got yourself a cup of coffee. You've been paying attention to what's going on. We're going to do a couple of things today. We're going to talk about a couple of quick things. The first thing that I want to talk to you guys is, listen, Jim Jordan is not playing games, okay? Jim Jordan's not joking around. If you didn't happen to see his floor speech yesterday, we had covered it, but I want y'all to hear, if you didn't, how Jim Jordan ripped into the Democrats as the new chair of the judiciary. This in response to Democrats saying that this is a ploy, this setting up this subcommittee on the weaponization of government is a ploy. It's a political stunt. It's not really necessary. Well, I'm going to tell you, he let the Democrats have it. Y'all take a listen to this. Just listen to this.
Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, Mr. Jordan of Ohio.
Gentleman from Ohio is recognized for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the gentleman yielding. A ploy? It's not a ploy when the Department of Justice treats parents as terrorists, moms and dads who are simply showing up at a school board meeting to advocate for their son or daughter. A ploy. It's not a ploy when the FBI pays Twitter $3 million. Not one, not two, $3 million to censor American citizens. It's not a ploy when the Department of Homeland Security tries to set up a disinformation governance board, because we all know that the Department of Homeland Security can tell what's good speech and what is bad speech, what's you got to be kidding me. I tell you what, dozens of whistleblowers who've come talk to Republican staff on the Judiciary Committee don't think this is a ploy. That's why they came to talk to us. They know how serious this is. The former Democrat chair of the Judiciary Committee is in the press today saying we're going to fight this tooth and nail. This is political. But meanwhile, the former Democrat chair of the Intelligence Committee pressured Twitter to censor a journalist. You've got to be kidding me. This is the most important. This is about the First Amendment, something you guys used to care about. And I'd actually hoped we could get bipartisan agreement on protecting the First Amendment, the 5 rights we enjoy as Americans under the First Amendment. Your right to practice your faith, your right to assemble, right to petition the government, freedom of press, freedom of speech. Every single one's been attacked in the last 2 years. Government was telling people they couldn't go to church just a few years ago. Your right to assemble, your right to petition the government. The Democrats kept the Capitol closed. You as a citizen, couldn't come to your Capitol that you pay for to address your member of Congress, to redress your grievances, because Nancy Pelosi wouldn't let you in. Freedom of the press, I just told you what the head of the Intel Committee tried to do to a journalist. The most important right we have, though, is your right to talk. Because if you can't talk, you can't practice your faith, you can't share your faith, you can't petition your government. The right to speak is the most important, and that's what they're going after. And that's why we've had dozens of whistleblowers come talk to us. We want to focus on that because we want it all to stop. We want the double standard to stop. This idea that if you're a pro-life activist, you're going to get your door kicked in, you're going to get arrested and handcuffed in front of your 7 kids and your spouse for simply praying in front of an abortion clinic and telling the guy who was harassing your son to knock it off. You're going to have the FBI raid your home. But the protest that went on at Supreme Court justices' homes in the aftermath of the leak of the Dobbs opinion, no problem there. Americans are sick and tired of it. And what we want, we don't want to go after anyone. We just want it to stop. And we want to respect the First Amendment to the Constitution that the greatest country in the world has. That's what this committee is all about, and that's what we're going to focus on. That's what we're going to do. And I yield back to the gentleman.
Yeah, So, as you can hear, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Jordan ain't playing no games as the chair of the new Judiciary Committee. And folks, he's got a point. When you have parents who are simply going to school board meetings to try to do the best they can to provide an education for their kids, to make sure that the teachers are providing the best education possible for their children, and you have the Department of Justice calling these parents basically terrorists, that's what you get. That's exactly what you should get. So good on Jim Jordan, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, for taking it to the Democrats and letting them know that Republicans ain't going to be playing no games with this Congress. We're going to take a real quick break, and we're going to be right back. We're going to talk a little bit about this before we get into the George Santos thing. We're going to talk a little bit about Biden, because your man Biden is clearly slipping. We'll be right back.
Just because you're black doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back to Top of the Morning, the best 30-minute morning talk show on the planet. I'm your host, Abdul Ali. Thanks for checking us live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go look us up, TUC Twins, on YouTube. And folks, you see on the screen your illustrious, I don't know if we want to call him illustrious, but the president, air finger quote, of the United States, basically found more documents, okay? His legal team found another batch of classified government records, which means there should be a raid coming somewhere following previous president, following the initial discovery of classified documents at its former think tank office in D.C. this past fall. People briefed on the matter have said that the legal team was surprised to find these documents. Searches took place after his lawyers found the initial classified documents in early November. One of the sources has said that the effort that led to the discovery of additional documents to federal officials was they were reviewing some of the documents that he had there. Now, this is a little interesting because I'm trying to figure out how do you, and if Democrats, or at least people on the left, are going to have some sort of standard here, and what do we do with this? I mean, he wasn't the president when he had the documents. I don't think the vice president has the power to declassify documents like the president has. He wasn't the president. So we should have a raid of his home coming soon. Just following what they did to Trump. Merrick Garland, if you're listening to the show, any of the leftist people on the left, we should be raiding President Joe Biden's home at any given moment to make sure that this guy doesn't have any more illegal documents. It's a matter of national security, I thought. It's a matter of making sure the country is safe. And clearly, if it was good for Trump, if it was good enough for Trump to get his home raided over classified documents, we should be raiding the home of Joe Biden. Now, I'm guaranteeing you this, folks. I'm willing to bet the bank on this. It ain't never gonna happen. Okay? You know the standard that the left has, do as I say, not as I do thing. That is the standard that the left is so used to. And it's despicable, quite frankly. But I'm so glad that we have control in Congress. You know, we've got a razor thin control of the House, you know, and we can make some things happen. But ultimately, we ought to be seeing some more transparency. We ought to be seeing some more control, some more limits on the Biden agenda. And that's what we're hoping that Republicans will bring. But this is absolutely insanity. You know, Biden has more classified documents. I mean, does he? Let's be honest, folks. He doesn't know that stuff's in there. Biden doesn't even, let alone know where he is, when he is, what he is. I don't think the guy knew he had the documents in there. And if he did know, he been forgot about it. So not a big deal in my book, but I think, look, we ought to hold him to the same standards. If you raided Trump's house, right, because he allegedly has some classified documents, when do we get the raid on Joe Biden's house? That is the question, ladies and gentlemen. When do we get the raid on Joe Biden? I mean, dude just made it down to the border. So let's just say it's never going to happen. If he's 2 years in and just made it down to the border, he's never, ever going to make it down to getting to those documents. So we're going to take one more real quick break, and we're going to come back and talk about this George Santos thing. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. We'll be right back here on Top of the Morning. Don't go nowhere.
This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com. This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description.
Welcome back to Top of the Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Abdul Ali. You're checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the planet. Again, we appreciate you being here. You know we've got to talk about it. You know everybody's talking about it. Mr. Santos, what are you doing, bruv? What are you doing? Why are you doing it? I mean, were you that thirsty to get into Congress, bro? Were you really that thirsty? I mean, did you really think Congress was that much of a cesspool? I mean, maybe it is, but before we talk about this most recent thing, this dude got caught up. Several GOP senators are calling for this dude to House members are calling for Santos to resign. And I want to know what y'all think. Should Santos resign? Get in the comment section. Let us know. Should Georgie boy step down? There's, like I said, several people want him to step down at this point. I mean, look, it's starting to look like he's getting pressure from the Nassau GOP. He's getting pressure from the Suffolk GOP. 4 House members have called for his, sitting House reps are calling for him to step it on down. Okay. The Nassau GOP has called for him. He's refusing to do it. Right. And look, let's just deal with this real quick. What lies has this dude told? Okay. Let's just deal with this real fast. First thing he did was he lied about where he went to high school. His parents immigrated from Brazil, said he attended the Horace Mann School in the Bronx during his first years of high school, but had to leave the prestigious academy in his senior year because my parents fell on hard times, which was something that would later become known as the Depression of '08, end quote. But a spokesman for the school told news reporters in December there was no evidence of him attending Horace Mann. He later obtained a high school equivalency diploma. Boy got him a GED. Ain't nothing wrong with a GED, but you ain't go to that school. Then he lied about where he went to college, claimed he had a degree in economics and finance from Baruch in 2010, which suggests he would have made it through a 4-year program in just 2 years if he actually graduated from high school in '08. But Baruch representatives told, and this was reported to the Times, there was no record of Santos being in the class in 2010, nor is there a record of Santos being a star on the Baruch volleyball team, as he claimed the Nassau GOP chair, Joseph Cairo. A biography of Santos on the National Republican Congressional Committee website states that Santos also spent time at NYU, claiming NYU would not corroborate, a claim that they would not corroborate. And later he told the New York Post that he didn't graduate from any institution of higher learning. Dang it, bro. Then he said he worked on Wall Street. His campaign bio stated that he worked at Goldman Sachs and Citigroup, but representatives for both companies told the Times that no record of his employment, and those weren't that hard to figure out. He said he worked at the real estate wing in the 2010s, though the bank sold off its asset management operations while he was in high school. Dang, bro. Wow. Then he lied about his money. He first ran in 2020, filed a disclosure showing a salary of $55,000 working as a vice president at business development company called Linkbridge Investors. And this is where Santos said he introduced investors to hedge fund managers. Soon after that failed to run, he started working for a Florida investment firm called Harbor City Capital, which was accused in April of 2021 by the Securities and Exchange Commission of being a Ponzi scheme and stealing $17 million. Wow. From their investors. The company assets are currently in mediation with an independent receiver appointed to manage them. Santos wasn't accused of any wrongdoing by authorities, and the next month he incorporated his own company called DeVolder. And in an interview in Singapore, he said he helped rich people buy the expensive toys they wanted. If a client wanted to sell a plane or a boat, he would go look at that within my Rolodex and be like, hey, are you looking for a plane? Are you looking for a boat? I just put feelers out there. Within 6 months, he claimed to have landed a couple of $1 million contracts. Financial disclosures from his 2022 campaign show he claimed to have made between $3.5 and $11 million from the company before it was dissolved last year. Now, I don't think everybody's buying the story that he earned his money as he did. The New York Times notes that DeVolder had no public website, no LinkedIn page, and on his campaign finance disclosure, he didn't list any clients. In a company bio, Santos once described DeVolder as his family's firm and said it was managing $80 million in assets. But the question by a representative of Dan Goldman of Brooklyn said, where'd the money come from? Referring to the $700,000 that Santos lent his own campaign. Now, if people were skeptical before, they're ultra skeptical because in 2008, Santos was 19, living in Brazil. Court records show he was caught stealing the checkbook of a man his mother was caring for, wrote $700 in fraudulent checks, including for a pair of shoes. He also appeared to make up this history about him being a landlord, claimed in the bio that his family ran a real estate portfolio of 13 properties. Again, news reporters found no evidence of the buildings. They were not listed on required campaign financial disclosures. And Santos, who, kind of went out there against the New York eviction moratorium during the pandemic, has been evicted not once, but twice. Deuce, you got two of those. He lied about funding. This is just lies, bro. He lied about funding an animal charity. His campaign bio claimed that he ran a foundation called Friends of Pets, saving 2,500 dogs and cats between 2013 and 18. But there was no social media accounts, no IRS records, no evidence of the charity being registered in New York, New Jersey, where he claimed to operated. The Times found that Friends of Pets United held one fundraiser with a rescue group in New Jersey, for which he charged $50 entry. The group that threw the event said that it was never received the funds and that Santos made up several excuses why they hadn't seen the money. Was he actually married? Santos flipped New York's 3rd district. He became the first openly gay non-incumbent Republican elected to Congress. His campaign bio discussed his husband, with whom he lives in Long Island, along with 4 dogs. But Santos never appeared on the campaign trail with his partner. This is the Daily Beast couldn't find a marriage record for them in New York. When he arrived at the house in January, he was not wearing a wedding ring. However, Santos did divorce a woman in Queens, and he told the New York Post he is very much gay. Now, it's unclear if his mother died in 9/11. His grandmother was definitely not a Holocaust victim. He did not have any company employees that died in the Pulse shooting. He claimed to be Jewish, but he's not Jewish, and he meant that as Jew-ish, like I'm sort of like a Jew. And the latest one to hit, okay, this is the latest one to hit, okay? The latest one to hit is that he had his campaign staffer paid him $100,000 to roll around and act as if he is the campaign manager for Kevin McCarthy. Absolutely bonkers. So the question remains, does George Santos need to step down? Well, the Suffolk County Republican Committee stands united with Chairman Cairo and the Nassau County Republican officials in rebuking Congressman George Santos, stated the Suffolk County Republican Committee Chairman Jesse Garcia. George Santos's lies and deceit is legendary. So there you have it, folks. Suffolk County asking him, standing with the Nassau County thing, and they're wanting him to step down. Will he step down? We don't know. Should he step down? We want to know what you think. Get in the comments. Let us know what you think. And thanks for checking out the best 30-minute morning show on the planet, Top of the Morning. Get in the comments. Let us know. Should Georgie Boy step down? Let us know what you think. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early, 8 a.m. for Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative.